Hey guys, welcome in. Got an exciting video here for you guys today. You guys asked for a Kobe Bryant video. A lot of people were messaging me saying they thought that would be a good idea. So um, I put together a Kobe Bryant video here for you guys today. We are going to be talking about 27 different cards that you can target for Kobe Bryant to try and make some money on. They are raw to grade plays. They range from 2019, I believe, all the way back to his rookie year in 1996. Welcome in, Regna Cards. So these are going to be 27 different plays on how to make money on Kobe Bryant. So let's get started with the first one. First one is a 2003. I'm sorry, is this the 3? Let me look here. Hang on a second. Technical difficulties on the first one. All right, here we go. This is the 2002 Topps Chrome Refractor. This is one of two refractors that you're going to see. Refractors are a little bit harder to grade. As you can see, the most recent sale was $166. I went out an entire year. There have only been 7 raw sales of this card within the last year, so it is a little bit harder card to come by. About one every other month, so you're going to have to do some searching and digging to find this card. However, the 1 year average is $158, and the most recent sale was $166. A PSA 9 is $269. So if you can find a nice copy, you can make a nice little $100 profit on a PSA 9. PSA 10, it does have a 24% gem rate. So even though it is a 20-year-old card, if you can find a nice one, a PSA 10 does go for $749. So there is still some money to be made if you can find these refractors, these older refractors in good condition. I am out searching for them myself. I bought a couple of Kobe Bryant cards at a local show that I was just at here this past weekend, and they look pretty good, so I'm sending them off for grading today. I always send out all my cards that get graded every Wednesday. But yeah, I'm gonna be looking for these refractors because the next one up here is going to be another refractor. And that is going to be the 2003. So we'll pull that one up here. This is the 2003 refractor, basically the same card. 2003, 1 year newer. It's a little bit less expensive. Most recent sale was $98. The 1 year average, however, is $151. So you can see the last 2 sales on this graph were down under $100, but prior to that, they were up in that $150 range. A couple of really nice copies that got up as high as $250 for a raw one. So it just goes to show you that you got to be patient with these cards. As you can see, this ebbs and flows. It goes up, it goes down. But the majority of these sales are all below that $150 line. So that's what I would be targeting. You can find this card in a PSA 9 is $234. So again, you're going to pick up a little over $100 on a PSA 9. On a PSA 10, it does have a 27% gem rate. And there have been 2 PSA 10s added to the pop report in this last year. So there are still some PSA 10 cards out there in raw condition, which was evident by 2 of them getting added to the pop report last year. 27% gem rate, $729. So you're going to have a huge return if you can get a PSA 10 in either one of those refractors. So, you're going to be searching a little bit harder for the refractors. They're not as easy to come by, but it doesn't mean that they can't be found, as somebody found them with one getting added to the pop report. So, all right, let's take a look at the next card. Next card up will be 2019. We're going to start with the newer cards and work our way back towards the rookie cards, in case you were wondering. So this is a 2019 Prism. This has been on my shows before, that you can make money on this card. I have flipped this exact card twice in the last year, and I got both of them came back PSA 10s. So I've done quite well with this card. So this is definitely a card you can make some money on. Last sale was $72. The 30-day average is $66. 5 sales in the last 30 days, so about 1 per week is what you're finding on this card. PSA 9 most recent sale was $114. So even if you get a 9, you are making a nice little $30-$40 profit after fees. And on a PSA 10, it's $382, a little better than tripling your money. And like I said, I've done this twice in the last year. It does have a 31% gem rate. I was fortunate enough that both of the ones that I bought them in person at card shows. So that certainly helps, because you can have a better idea of what the quality is in hand. But I was able to buy 2 PSA 10, 2 raws that PSA 10. So that's a card. If you buy it online, might be a little bit more difficult to do, but if you buy it in person, like I said, I'm 2 for 2. I actually just bought one of these cards this morning off of eBay, so I got it relatively inexpensively. I got it for $65 on a snipe bid very early this morning. So we're going to try that and see if I get as lucky on the eBay as I did with the 2 in person. All right, let's take a look at the next one. Next card up will be 2012 Crusade. This is kind of I really like this card. It's 2012 was the first year of the Prism. So this is the first year of the Crusade cards. I like the image. It's an attractive card. Most recent sale was $60. Looks like that was yesterday. The 30-day average is $52, so it's a little above the 30-day average. There have been 4 sales in the last 30 days. So again, about 1 per week is what you're going to find on this card. So it is available. A PSA 9 goes for $90. So you're going to at least break even. You might turn a $5 or $10 profit after fees on a PSA 9. So there's not a lot of risk involved with a PSA 9. On a PSA 10, it's $265. So you're gonna pick up a couple $100 on a PSA 9. Welcome in, Free Car Finder. We are talking about all Kobe Bryant all the time. We got 27 plays today on ways to make money on Kobe Bryant raw to grade plays. And we're starting with the more modern cards, and we are working our way back. So if you're wondering where the rookie cards are, they will come towards the end. All right. Next card up on the docket. Let's pull up a 2019. So this is the same as the Orange Ice. This is the 19 Prism card number 9. You will see this exact card in 3 different parallels today. This is the second parallel. The first one was the orange ice. This is the silver Prism. What makes this card attractive, and the reason 2019 cards are doing well, is it is card number 8. Of course, that is a jersey number card. So that, I think, is why these bring a little bit more than some of the other stuff. Yeah, thanks for the love. Appreciate the feedback there. Yeah, I try to bring you some good value here. So this card here, as you can see, the most recent sale was $26 a couple of days ago. The 30-day average is $18, so it is up almost $8, exactly $8 in the last 30 days. You can see the chart. It got a couple of these cards here. One got down to $10 and one got down to $9. So if you're patient and you can find some auctions on these cards, you can probably do quite well. But if you got to spend that most recent sale of $26, that's fine. You're not going to lose any money at $26. A PSA 9 sells for $59. So you're going to at least break even after fees on a PSA 9. And on a PSA 10, it's $140. So you're going to do a little better than double your money on a PSA 9. So there is profit to be had there. And a silver Prism, Kobe Bryant. Who doesn't want a silver Prism? Kobe with the card number, jersey numbered at number 8. That's what makes that card kind of unique and attractive. You will find there'll be one more of that card in a different parallel as we get to it in a few more cards. Let's pull up the next card. Next card up is a 2019 fast break. So here's the third parallel. This is same exact card. This is the fast break Prism parallel. $31. So it's $5 more than the silver Prism. A little bit more rare than the silver Prism. A little bit harder to find. Only 2 sales in the last 30 days compared to more. What was there? 10 sales of the silver. So a little bit harder card to find, a little bit more money than the silver. So it might be easier plays to do the orange ice and the silver. However, I wanted to make this card brought to your guys' attention. So $31, if you pay around $31, PSA 9 is $80. So you're going to make about a $20, $25 profit after all shipping and fees are done. So unlike the silver, which is a break even on the PSA 9, the fast break is a profit on the PSA 9. So that's why I put it in there. So a little bit harder to find, a couple more dollars in the PSA than the silver. However, you're making money on a 9 with the fast break versus breaking even on a silver PSA 9. On a PSA 10, $192. So you are essentially getting a 4x of your money return after fees. So that is a very good rate of return. 400% is always nice to get. And Kobe, of course, is the reason we're doing this is Kobe's one of the greatest. His cards are very liquid. You never have a problem selling Kobe Bryant cards, whether they're 9s or 10s or raw. All of Kobe's Bryant's cards sell well pretty much year round. So that is why I think you guys requested some Kobe Bryant cards to get listed here. So, all right, let's do the next one. Next one up is the 2012. As I mentioned before, 2012 is the first year of Prism. I don't know with Topps now getting the licensing if the 12 Prism is going to become even more iconic because they aren't going to be making them anymore. That would be my guess because it was the 12 Prism cards. That set is a pretty well collected set amongst collectors. So I think that this card is going to continue to hold value over time. $21.50 is the most recent sale of the card. There have been 4 sales in the last 30 days. So again, about 1 per week. The 30-day average is almost the exact same as the most recent sale, $21.50. So at $21.50 plus your grading fees on a bulk grading, a PSA 9 is $60. You're going to break even on a PSA 9 after all fees and shipping are done. PSA 10 is $122, so you're going to 2 to 3x your money on a PSA 10. And again, I wonder if this card is not going to go up in value once the Topps Chromes come out, because you have some people that are just flat out Topps haters and they prefer Panini products. I think that's going to make this 12 Prism set even more valuable than it currently is. But the first year Prism is always a nice card to collect for any player in that set, especially Kobe Bryant. All right, let's go to the next card. We are almost done with the modern cards, so we will be having a lot of the older cards coming up here shortly. But let's cover up the next one. So the next one is the 2018 card number 15. This is the Pink Ice. So this is not the card number. This is not another parallel of the card number 8. This is card number 15. This is the Pink Ice. This is also the last modern type card that I'm going to have on the list before we go to the first, second, and third year cards. But $20.50 is the most recent sale. 5 sales in the last 30 days, so about 1 per week. $24.50 is the 30-day average, so it is real close to the 30-day average. This card sells for, again, $60 in a PSA 9. So once again, you're breaking even to maybe making $5 after fees on a PSA 9, so very low risk. A PSA 10 is $138. It does have a 48% gem rate. So you do have a 50-50 shot of gemming this card. So for a $20.50 investment, you could go buy 3, 4, 5 of them. You get a couple of 10s, and you are in the money. It's a nice, easy way to turn some profits real quick, real easy on some Kobe Bryant cards. All of these modern ones that I just went over all have much higher gem rates. I think I forgot to mention, but that 2012 Crusade card has a 55% gem rate. So that card gems real well as well. The parallels of the 2019, they all gem in that 30 to 45% rate as well. So you don't have to spend a lot of money to make money on Kobe Bryant cards. That's the point I was trying to make here. You can get some nice Kobe Bryant cards for under $50, get them graded, and for $100 budget, you can start making some profits on Kobe Bryant without a huge bankroll. So hope that helps. All right, we're going to start taking a look at some of the older cards now. First one up here is going to be a 97 Skybox. This is the 97 Skybox Premium. These cards were they didn't sell a ton of these cards back in 97, so they're a little bit harder to come by. However, it does have 4 sales in the last 30 days. So it is about 1 per week, not too much different than some of these other cards that we were finding. However, it is a little bit more expensive. It's $325 is the most recent sale. The 30-day average is $300. So you're going to have to pay up a little bit more for the, 96, 97, 98 Kobe's that are on this list. Some of them aren't too bad, but several of them are a little bit more pricey, which is why I saved them towards the end here. Also, I'm going to be talking with all of these now moving forward. I'm not only going to be talking PSA 9, I'm going to be talking PSA 8, because the older the cards get, the harder it is to get a 9 and a 10. So the entry level that we're going to be talking about, breaking even on it, is going to be the PSA 8s. So also take note to that. So this card here, raw 325, and $396 is a PSA 8. So you're breaking even on a PSA 8. A PSA 9 is $735. So you're going to double your money on a PSA 9. And a PSA 9 right now, you're getting 9s at about a 35% rate. So 9s are very doable. So you could take a $300 card, get it graded, and double your money on a PSA 9. The PSA 10, highly unlikely you're going to get a PSA 10. There's only 11% gem rate. There's only 16 in existence. So I would not be holding my breath for a PSA 10. I'm going to give you PSA 10 values on all of these next 14 cards. However, highly unlikely you're going to get a 10 on these older cards. We're really focusing on the PSA 8 and the PSA 9 because that's going to be the two grades that are achievable with finding a nice card. But the PSA 10 here is $2,700. Again, I'm not expecting that. All right. So you can see as you get to the older cards, a little more expensive, a little bit more profit margin built in, a little bit harder to do because they're going to become a little bit harder to find. And that's a 97. So it's a second year card. 96 is his rookie year. All right, let's take a look at the next one. Next one up is 1996. This is the Youth Quake Topps card. This is kind of they brought the Youth Quake back a couple of years ago. This is an attractive card. If you haven't seen this card in person, it is a attractive card. It's got a lot of gold on it, which is a little bit like a jersey match, not really, but it's a good looking card. They make this card in both the Topps base and the Topps Chrome. This is the Topps base card. This is not the Chrome card. The Chrome cards they're much harder to grade. So I did not put the Chrome on this list. $100 is the most recent sale. The 30-day average is 117. 5 sales. So again, about 1 per week is what you're looking at on this card. A PSA 8 is $107. So this is the first card we're talking about today that if you get the base grade, a PSA 8, you're going to lose about $20, $25 after fees. So a little bit more risk involved in this card than anything else that we've talked about so far. A PSA 9, however, is $296, and it has a 33% chance of getting a PSA 9. So if you want to take that $20 to $30 risk on an 8, there is high upside in a PSA 9 as you are going to about triple your money on a PSA 9. And again, the PSA 10 is only a 7% gem rate. PSA 10's $1,800, but again, I'm not advocating that we are going to be looking at any type of 10 returns. That's just crazy talk. Is it possible? Yes. Is it likely? No. All right. So let's move on here to the next one. Next card up is the 1996 Topps. NBA, this is the 50th anniversary. So it's the NBA at 50 is what it's called. It is a Topps. It is a paper card. It is not a chromium card. So they do have pretty good grading on them if you can get a nice centered copy. $150 is the most recent sale. I did this over 1 year because these are a little bit harder to come by. So there have been 34 sales in the last year, which is about 3 per month, not quite 1 per week, about 3 a month. $141 is the 1 year average. So right now at 150, that's real close to the 1 year average. I did make this play about 2 months ago. If you follow my Instagram daily pickups, you notice that I did buy this card. I don't remember exactly, 2-3 months ago. It was my pickup of the day. I paid, I don't remember what I paid. I paid around this price for it. And I did get a PSA 9. So we're going to cover the numbers here on this card. A PSA 8 sells for $191. So you're going to break even on a PSA 8. On a PSA 9, which is what I got, $450 is the most recent sale. So you're going to 3x your money. It does have about a 25% PSA 9 rate. So 1 out of 4. So I was pretty lucky at getting that PSA 9. And again, PSA 10's 4,500, but it's a ridiculous 4% gem rate. So I don't anticipate that there are too many PSA 10s left in the world that you're going to be able to buy raw. But again, I like to give you all the information so you guys can make an educated decision on your own and do what is best for you. All right, next up, we are going to talk about, I believe that there are, I want to say there's 16 cards left, and they're all first 3, I believe, all but one of them, which is an 08. So there are, 15 plays left that are first, second, or third year cards. So there's lots of fun stuff coming here. All right, next up is the 1997 Metal Universe, card number 3. This is Planet Metal is what this is called. There are different parallels, so this is the base Planet Metal card number 3. Most recent sale was $160 a couple of days ago. 4 sales in the last 30 days, so again, about 1 per week. That's a pretty common theme that we're finding here with Kobe Bryant cards. The 30-day average is 176, so 160 is a little bit below the 30-day average. A PSA 8 will get you $210. So you're going to break even on a PSA 8 after fees. A PSA 9 is $621. So if you can pull a PSA 9 on this card, that is quite the nice little profit to buy a card raw for 150 to 175 bucks. Get it graded, you'll have 200 bucks invested to get $600 back return. That makes this a very fun, profitable play. It does only have a 20% PSA 9 rate, so it's getting a little bit harder to do. 1 out of 5. However, 1 out of 5 isn't bad when you're talking about that type of rate of return. PSA 10 is $2,100, but again, only a 4% gem rate. So highly unlikely you will find a PSA 10. All right, next up, we are going to have a Topps Chrome, I believe, if I am correct. Yes, this is the signature card of Kobe Bryant. They have the Topps paper, they have the Topps Chrome. This is his signature card. This is the most common of the cards. The Chrome, of course, aren't real common as they are the paper ones, but this is his flagship Topps Chrome rookie card. So with that said, it comes with a much higher price tag. So the raw card most recent sale was a day ago, $600. The 30-day average is $589, so $600 is pretty consistent for what this card sells for. Again, the same type of sales count as most of the other Kobe Bryant cards. 4 sales in the last 30 days, so about 1 per week. This is the chromium, so you got to be careful here, guys. Scratches, surface. These cards, an 8 is not a guaranteed thing on a good-looking card here. You could easily get a 6 or a 7. But we're going to be talking about 8s, 9s, and 10s. All right. So find a nice copy, look it over good before you send it in. I would hate to see you take a huge loss because you sent in a card that wasn't worthy of being graded. All right. That said, a PSA 8, $800. So after fees, it's going to cost you more to grade this card. So the shipping's going to be more, the grading's going to be more. So $800, although it looks like a $200 profit, after fees, it's really only about $100 profit. So to spend $600 to make $100 on a PSA 8, it's okay, but not great. A PSA 9, however, is $1,470. So now we're getting into some serious ching. We're talking about doubling your money after fees and shipping. And the PSA 9 is the most popular grade at PSA. There have been 4,200 of these cards. 4,200 of the 6,700 cards graded have graded a PSA 9. So PSA 9 is a very popular grade, very easy grade to come by. It's about a 60% gem rate, or I'm sorry, a 60% PSA 9 rate. So very good chances if you can find a good, nice, well-centered card with good surface of doubling your money on this card. This is a high risk, high reward type situation. PSA 10 does have a 12% gem rate. $5,200 is the PSA 10 price. So you're talking 5xing of your money, but with a 12% gem rate. Again, not impossible. 12% is one of the highest gem rates for his rookie cards that there are. However, not something I would count on. I would aim for the PSA 9 with a 60% PSA 9 rate, and you can make some nice profits there. You can turn, you'll have $600-700. You'll have about $700 invested with shipping and grading fees, but $1,400 to double your money. That's a nice way to go. All right, next up, 97 Fleer Ultra. This is the gold medallion. You're going to see two of these gold medallions. One is going to be a different year, but this is the 97 Fleer Ultra. 1G is the number. It's the gold medallion. $56.95 was the most recent sale. Obviously, that was at auction because of the odd number at the end. 6 of these have been sold in the last 30 days, so a little better than one per week. The 30-day average is $54, so real close to the most recent sale. Spend somewhere in that $50, $55, $60 range. PSA 8's $81, so you're going to break even. You might lose $5 to $7 after eBay fees if you get a PSA 8. A PSA 9 is $350. So again, a nice triple up of your money. And it does have a 20% PSA 9 rate, so about 1 in 5. PSA 10's $3,500, but only has a 2% gem rate. So much more difficult card to gem. Not that we are going for that, but that is what it is at, 2%. So again, PSA 9 would be the goal if you go for that play. All right, next up is a Topps Finest. This is going to be his rookie card. It's the Topps Finest card number 74. This is considered the bronze base. This has the coating. So back in 96, they had cards with a film on the top, and they call it with coating. This still has the coating on it. So that is $51, and there have been 15 sales in the last 30 days. So you are looking at about one every two days, roughly. $69 is the 30-day average. So this is a little bit less than the 30-day average. You are looking at $80 for the PSA 8. So about a break even on a PSA 8 if you can get it around that $50 mark. PSA 9 is $168, and it is a 50% PSA 9 rate. This is a very popular card. There have been 11,000 of these graded. So this is a much easier card to come by. One of his easiest cards other than his Topps paper card. One of the most easiest cards to come by in terms of volume. This card has a 15% gem rate at $375. It's only $375 because there are 1,780 gems of this card already. So this card is a little bit easier to gem with the coating on it. However, it is still a rookie card. All right, we have 12 plays remaining, I believe. So let's keep rolling here. Next up, we have 2008. So I mentioned there's one that isn't a first second, or third year card. This is the one that is not. It is the 2008 Topps. 2008 was another iconic set. This is the base. This is not the chrome. Most recent sale was $60.99. 31 sales in the last 30 days. So it is one a day for the last 30 days. So a much easier card to come by. $62 is the 30-day average. So it is about on average. The PSA 8 last sale was $99. So you're going to break even on a PSA 9. I'm sorry, a PSA 8. PSA 9 is $127, so you make about $25. Does have a 33% gem rate. I'm sorry, 33% PSA 9 rate. And then the PSA 10 is $670, and it does have a 21% gem rate. So this is one card that you could potentially still find in gemmable condition. So this is a card that you could make some real good money on if you can find a nice copy of it. All right, let's keep rolling here. Next card up is 1997. This is the Hoops. It's the only Hoops card that made the list. NBA Hoops card number 1HV. This is the high voltage card. Only 2 sales in the last 30 days, so about 2 per month, one every other week. A little bit harder card to come by. $223, and the 30-day average is $226. PSA 8, however, is $341. So a nice $100 profit on a PSA 8. And a PSA 8 does come at about a 50% rate on these. So pretty high percentage to pick up $100. PSA 9, $740. So you're talking about a 3x of your profits. Huge profit margins if you can get a PSA 9, and it does have 25% on the PSA 9. So you've got a 75% chance of an 8 or a 9. The 8 picks you up $100. The 9's going to pick you up almost $500. There have been 0 of these that have ever gotten a PSA 10. 0. There have only been 181 of these cards ever graded. So this card is a little shorter print, a little bit harder card to come by, and getting a gem is impossible, as there have been none so far. But that 9, when you have a 75% chance of an 8 or a 9 of making profits, this is probably the number 1 card on the list that I am going to be looking for. I have never bought this card. I have never owned this card. But I can assure you I am looking for this card moving forward. I really like the way that is going to look here. All right. Next up, we are going to have this one here. Again, if you're following my daily pickups, this one here you just saw a week or so ago. 1996 Skybox EX2000. This is the base card. It's got a cool green border on it. $178, most recent sale. 30-day average is $177. 26 sales in the last 30 days, so it's about one per day. So it's a fairly easy card to come by. In a PSA 8, it's $310. I do not have mine back from grading yet, so I cannot tell you how I did. But you're looking at a $100 profit on a PSA 8, and that's about a 33% chance based on the current grades. PSA 9 is $875. So again, an absolutely huge margin, $600 profit margin on a PSA 9. And that is at about a 15% chance. And then the PSA 10s are almost impossible, but one sold for $23,000 if you were to get lucky, win the lottery, something of that nature. Highly unlikely to get a PSA 10. All right. We've got 8 to go. We're down to our final 8. Here we go. Next up, we have, oh, that's the one I just did. Let's get rid of that one. All right, next up, we have the 96 Collector's Edge. This is called the Ice Sculpture card. Very, very pretty card in hand. Hard card to come by. Only 10 have sold in the last year, so about one per month. $72 the most recent sale. $91 is the 1 year average. So it's a little bit under the average right now. PSA 8's $120, so you're gonna break even, maybe turn a little profit on an 8. PSA 9, $238, so you double your money. It's about a 33% chance. And the PSA 10, believe it or not, has a 43% gem rate. However, there have only been 148 cards graded, but 64 of them have gemmed. So 43% gem rate, $350 if you find a gemmable one. So this is one where you could potentially find a card that could still gem and triple up on your money, but you are for sure breaking even on a PSA 8. Between the 8, 9, and 10, you are looking at about a 95% chance. So pretty low odds of losing money on this card. A pretty high chance that you're going to turn a profit if you can find this card in decent shape. All right, next up, we have the 96 Metal. This is the freshly forged version. Card number 3, most recent sale, $46. 2 sales in the last 30 days, so about one every other week. $81 is the PSA 8, so you're turning a profit on an 8, $5-10. PSA 9's $200, so you're going to double your money on a PSA 9. And the 10 is only 2%, but it's a 2% for a $3,100 card. All right, we got a handful to go before we finish up here. I think there's, 5, 6 to go. All right. 98 Fleer Ultra. Here's the other gold medallion card I was talking about. This is the 98 version. It's 61G. Very cool looking card with the gold medallion. $65 most recent sale, $78 30-day average. So it's a little below 30-day average. 10 sales in the last 30 days. So about one every 3 days. A little bit easier card to come by. PSA 8's $120. So you double up your money on a PSA 8. After taxes and fees, you're probably going to make $50 on an 8. 33% chance at that. PSA 9, $227, and about a 33% chance at that. And then PSA 10's $2,200 with only a 2% gem rate. But you've got about a 65% chance at an 8 or a 9 of making anywhere from $50 to $200 on that play. All right, next up is the 98 Skybox Premium. This is called Soul of the Game. This is an insert card. It's the from the premium set, so there are not a lot of these available. So I went out 1 year instead of 30 days. There have been 28 sales of this card in the last year, about 2 per month. $158 is what this most recent sale was. $188 is the 1 year average. This card has a $300 PSA 8. So again, you're turning about a $50 profit on an 8, and it's about a 50% chance on an 8. The PSA 9 is $315. It's only $15 more than the PSA 8, but a PSA 9 has not sold recently, which is why I think it is so close together. That is about a 20% chance. And then the PSA 10 is a 2% chance. The last sale of that's $4,200. But again, a very high likelihood of getting an 8, which is turning you a nice profit. So let me get rid of these. All right. We have, I believe, 4 remaining. Next up is the 96 Fleer Ultra. This is the rookie Encore Gold Medallion G266. It doesn't have as much gold on the front of the card as the other 2 gold medallions, but it does have the little gold logo up in the corner. $42.50 most recent sale. That is way up from what this card had been transacting. If you look at the graph, $27 is the 30-day average. So this card is on the rise, 5 sales in the last 30 days. $81 is a PSA 8, so it's about a break even. PSA 9's $147. It's a 33% chance at both the 8 and the 9, so you got a 65% chance at an 8 or a 9. So breaking even or turning a small profit. PSA 10, only a 1% gem rate. $300 is the last sale on the PSA 10. All right. 3 remaining. Next up is the 96 Skybox Premium. This is another rookie card. This is the rookie preview card, car number R3. It's a Skybox Premium, $65 most recent sale. 30-day average is $82. The 1 year average is $82. Again, a little bit harder card to come by. Only 16 sales in the last year, so about 1 per month. As you can see the graph, this card jumps all around. This is a crazy looking graph. But you're going to want to target this card down in that $60 to $80 range if you can find it. You could go up to 100 and still be okay if you needed to, as the PSA 8 sells for $160, and it's a 50% chance at a PSA 8. PSA 9, $317, so you're going to double up your money, maybe triple up your money depending upon what you pay for it. That's about a 20% chance. And then a 2% chance at a 10, which is $7,900. All right. Let's see if we can't finish strong here. Next card up is the 1998 Fleer Great Expectations card 3GE. This is a third year card. It's a 98. $27 most recent sale. $31 is the 30-day average. So it's pretty consistent. 4 sales in the last 30 days, so about 1 a week. PSA 8's $84. So you're turning a nice small, maybe $10, $15 profit on an 8. And there's a 50% chance at an 8. The PSA 9 is $214, and that is about a 15% chance. And then the PSA 10 $1,700, only a 1% chance. So we aren't going to worry about the PSA 10s. All right. And the last card we are going to talk about today is going to be a rookie card. It is the 96 Fleer Ultra, card number 52. I have made this play numerous times in the last year. This is 85 sales in the last 30 days. One of the easiest cards to come by on the list, as it sells about 3 cards a day. $24 is the 30-day average, so it's pretty consistently in that $20 to $30 range. PSA 8's $50, so you want to get it in that $20 to $25 range if you want to break even on an 8. 8s are about a 40% chance or 40% clip. The PSA 9's 135, so you're going to triple your money, and that's about a 30% chance. And then the PSA 10 is only a 3% chance. It's a $1,500 card. So that is 27 different ways for you to make money on Kobe Bryant. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you got any questions, reach out as always. Happy hunting, and I will see you on the next one.